Be'ez Hashem Yisborach, we begin Perek Shlisha, the third and final chapter in the Rambam Hilchos Milah laws of circumcision in the Sefer Ahava, the Book of Love, which in this perek we discuss regarding the bracha on the circumcision and the significance of this mitzvah. And Rambam begins halacha alf regarding the order of the brachas. Hamol mevarach kodim sheyamol. The one who does the circumcision, he makes a blessing before he does the circumcision. Asher kedushaну b'mitzvos, that he sanctified us in his commandments, b'tzivonu ala milah, and he commanded us on the circumcision. That's im mol ben chaver, as often you have a mole when he circumcises his friend's son. The mol as benoi, but if he's circumcising his own son, Mevarach makes the blessing b'tzivonu lomol es ben, that he commanded us to circumcise the son, as the Rambam said in the Hilchos Brachas in Perek Aleph, that anything that the person is commanded to do himself and he's doing it, he says the bracha lasas. But if he's doing someone else's obligation, he makes the bracha al on whatever the yesiyah has to be. Now, since the mitzvah is on the father to circumcise his son, so therefore, when it's the father, he says lomol, when he's doing it himself. When he's doing someone else's son, so then he makes the bracha al hamil. Now, the father of the son, he makes a different blessing. Besides for the bracha of the circumcision, he makes the bracha, bless you Hashem, our God, King of the world, that he sanctified us in his commandments, and he commanded us to bring him in, this child, in the covenant of Avram, our father, where he was the one that was originally commanded in the mitzvah milah. Because there's a commandment on the father to circumcise his son, Yisrael mitzvah, more than the commandment Shemitzu in Yisrael, that the Jewish people are commanded, that all the circumcised amongst their people should be circumcised. The figure, therefore, if the father is not there, others don't make this blessing, because it specifically was instituted distinctly for the father, because of the extra obligation that he has more than the rest of the Jewish people. Yesh mishahar is some rule that this blessing should be made either by the bezin, by the court, or echad min ha'amah, one of the people. But the ein ro'alaska, it's not appropriate to do this. It's only for the father. Halacha beis. Now, if there were people standing around at the time of the bris milah, they say after the blessing, shem shech nasastoi labris, just like you brought him into the covenant, kein techniseyu laTorah, so you should bring him into the Torah, ulchuppah, and to the marriage, ulamasim tovim, and to good deeds. Which this statement refers to the father's obligations to his child, as the Gemara tells in Kedushin of Choptez. He has the mitzvah to redeem him, to teach him Torah, to marry him off to a woman, and this alluding to the father that from here on he has these other responsibilities for his son. Now, why is Ma'asim Tovim mentioned last? Even though in order the son first becomes Bar Mitzvah at 13 and then the Chuppah is at 18. The reason for that is because in Bezdin Shalmal the punishments only come when he's 20. So the Chuppah is at 18, so it's Chuppah, and then Ma'asim Tovim, his deeds are then judged at age 20. Halacha Gimel. And then the father of the baby makes the blessing, or Hamol, or the Mayil, or one of the people standing over there makes a different bracha. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, blessed are you Hashem, our God, King of the world, Asher Kiddush Yedid mi beten, that he sanctified the beloved, referring to Yitzchak Avinu, is called Yedid because when Avram Avinu was told to do the Akedah, it says, the one Asher Ahavta, that you love, which before he was born, mi beten, from the womb, he's already commanded in this mitzvah, as Hashem said, that sorry, your wife will give birth, and I'll have my covenant with you, which referring to the bris milah. So Yitzchak is already sanctified, the beloved one, mi beten, already from the womb. V'chayik b'she'erei sam, and the laws were set in his flesh, which that's the bris milah, it's a mitzvah in the body of the person. V'tzetzav, and his descendants, chasam ba'itz bris kodesh, he sealed with the sign of the holy covenant, which is us, the Jewish people, his descendants. Al kain, therefore, bischazais, in this merit, kel chai, the living God, chelkeinu is our portion, soreinu, our rock, tzavei lahatzal yedidus, command to save the beloved ones, she'ereinu, our connected ones, our relatives, mishachas, from destruction, lama'an b'risoy hashasam b'v'sureinu, because of his covenant that he placed in our flesh, baruch atah Hashem, blessed you Hashem, kodesh habris, who makes the covenant. V'avei haben mevarch shechianu. The Rambam holds that the father of the son makes a bracha of shechianu, because this is something that comes from time to time, something like when we make shechianu at different time periods, as the Rambam says, Hilchos Brachas and Perek Aleph. Halacha Dal continues with the circumcision of gerim, of converts, and of slaves. Hamalas a gerim mevarach. If someone circumcises a convert, he makes the blessing. Baruch atah Hashem Elokeinu melech haolam, asher kedushan b'mitzvos, so that he sanctified us in his commandments. V'tzavanu lo malas agem, and he commanded us to circumcise the converts. Ulahatam hem dam bris, and to draw from them the blood of the covenant, if he already had a bris beforehand. if it was circumcised, because if not, for the blood of the covenant, heaven and earth would not last. Like it says the pasuk in Yirmiyah, if not from a covenant, day and night, which what's the bris that's day and night? It's the bris milah, it's always there. The statutes of heaven and earth I would not have placed. Someone is circumcising his slave, he makes the blessing that he sanctified us in his commandments, that he commanded us to circumcise the slaves, and to draw from them the blood of the covenant, because if not for the blood of the covenant, heaven and earth would not last. Now, if he circumcised the slaves of others, so then it's not, like we said, lomul, but rather the bracha is al milas avadim, based on those same principles, as we mentioned before, on the circumcision of slaves. Now, if someone's circumcising an adult, then his genital area has to be covered until the blessing is made, because one cannot make a blessing in place of someone's nakedness, in contrast to an 8-day-old baby. And then you reveal it, and then you do the circumcision. Allah above continues with certain situations that the milah is done without a bracha. Ger shamol kodesh in this guy. If you have a convert that had circumcised himself before he converted, or for katan shanol kishamal, or for the baby was born already circumcised, without a foreskin. When you draw from them the blood of the covenant, you don't require a blessing, because no situations are situations of doubt. And the dragon is told to someone who has both male and female genitalia. You don't make a blessing on the circumcision. He's not a definite male, and the general rule is one does not make a blessing on situations of doubt. Halacha Zayin regarding the circumcision of Gentiles. If there's a Gentile that has to cut off his foreskin, because of an injury, because of the leprosy, boils that are on his foreskin. Either way, also it's forbidden for a Jew to cut it off. Because Gentiles, we don't take them out from situations of death. We don't do a medicinal healing for them. And also we don't bring them down to death. But therefore you cannot do this healing. Now, although a mitzvah is being done of circumcision with this healing, but that was not his intent. His intent is not for the mitzvah of milah, it's just for healing. Therefore, one's not allowed to do this. But if the Gentile's intent is for circumcision, which the Rambam's opinion is that we encourage even other mitzvahs for the Gentiles to do, and we allow that, and even if it's not being done for the purpose of conversion, mitzvah then there is a mitzvah for the Jew to circumcise him, even though it's going to heal him, and he's not supposed to heal that idol worshiper. Halacha Ches, regarding the maila of this mitzvah milah. Me'usa hi arla, the foreskin is considered so disgusting, that that's how the Gentiles are degraded with, that terminology. It's not like it says the pasuk in Yirmiyah, because all the Gentiles are uncircumcised. And how great is circumcision? That Avram Avinu is not called complete until he was circumcised. Like says in the pasuk in Bereshis, Hashem says, go in front of me and be complete. And what does it say? How does it become complete? I'm going to place my covenant between me and between you. Whoever nullifies the covenant of Avram Avinu, our father, and either he leaves his foreskin, or even if he's circumcised, he pulls out his skin that it should look like to cover over the male organ. Then even if this person has Torah and good deeds, does not have a portion to the world to come. Halacha test. Come and see how severe is the mitzvah of milah. That Moshe Rabbeinu was not suspended as a break. Even for one moment that he didn't circumcise his son, even though he was traveling on the road. Now all the mitzvahs of Torah, all the other 612 mitzvahs, there was 3 covenants made for the rest of the Torah. Somebody says in the pasuk, Eladivri habris asher tziva Hashem, and then it says Mulvad habris asher karas itam mechayev in devarim. And Mesham over there it says in the next parak, it says atem nitzam kulchem la'avrecha bivris Hashem lakecha. So it mentions how shalosh bris is meant for the whole Torah, 3 times the word bris, to say there's 3 covenants. Yeah, Allah milah on circumcision. There were 13 covenants made with Avram Avinu on this one mitzvah milah, because all the different times it mentions there between Hashem and Avram Avinu, if you count it up, v'etna brisi beini beinecha, ani hine brisi itach, v'kamais is brisi beini beinecha, levris oilam, v'ates brisi tishmer, zois brisi asher tishmer, voy lois bris, Meisa Berisa Bevsarchem, Levris Oilam, is Berisi Hefer, but Kamaisa is Berisi Ite, Levris Oilam, Vis Berisi Okemes Yitzchak. 13 times it mentions the word bris, referring to the bris milah. We see how great it is, how severe it is, that 13 times, the contrast, the rest of the Torah only has 3 brises. Baruch Rachman, the Design, blessed Hashem who has assisted us to finish the mitzvahs of the halachas of bris milah.